This is the Katie Phang Show, live from MSNBC World Headquarters in New York City. We've got lots of news to cover and lots of questions to answer, so let's get started. And later, healing in Hawaii. The spirit of aloha is shining as Maui continues to recover from the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. We'll talk to one woman who opened her home to nearly 24 wildfire survivors. All of that and more is coming up. We're approaching 3 weeks since the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history forever changed lives in the landscape of Maui. And some families are still holding out hope that their loved ones will be found. At least 115 people are confirmed dead, and officials are ramping up their search for the 388 people who remain unaccounted for as of this past Thursday. On Friday, Hawaii Governor Josh Green announced that displaced residents living in temporary government-subsidized hotels and Airbnbs can stay where they are for the foreseeable future, saying that as long as they registered with the Red Cross, their stay could extend to at least 36 weeks. Some residents who live outside of Lahaina are generously opening up their doors, including my next guest, who has housed 22 people and is raising donations to help the wildfire survivors. Joining me now, Robin Muto, co-founder of Ignite a Life Foundation. Robin, thanks for joining us this morning. At one point, you actually took in 22 wildfire survivors with barely more than the clothes on their backs. So how many people remain with you today? And what are you learning from listening to them about their experiences?
Right now, there's still about 16 of them there. It turns out that more families, they're big families, extended families. So they'll find out that someone else can't stay with someone else any longer, or they need a babysitter. So I believe there's 18 of them now. They did have a brother fly in from another island that came because there's still one of the family members that's missing, the father, that they cannot find, and they're still coming together to kind of console everybody to search for the last remaining person of their family. So, yeah, about 18 or 19 of them now still living. They're such humble, amazing folks. They're all, the place looks kind of like a youth hostel with just beds everywhere and just their little small pile of what they have that's theirs in one corner of the room. So they're just amazing folks. Everybody's come together, and we're just honored to be able to help them in any way that we can.
Robin, the people that haven't actually left, and your generosity is just incredibly noteworthy. The people that haven't been able to leave, is it because they literally do not have homes to return back to?
Yeah, these folks that we have here, they lost 3 homes. And they're completely devastated. I mean, demolished. There's nothing that they can go back to. So there were extended families all living in this one area of these 3 homes. One home is still standing, the 4th home. And the family had actually not been able to get in contact with the people in that 4th home. It was a mom and a dad, and they had actually been babysitting their grandkid. And for 2.5 days, this family was not able to get in contact with the mother and the father and the little 2-year-old baby. So that was just hard enough to have that 2.5 days of wondering, like, if they're alive or if they're not. But luckily, they were alive and they were okay. So the family was reunited. But like I said, they're just still looking for one family member. So, but everybody has come together. Everyone is just, they don't worry about anything. They have a roof over their head. And there was sometimes 3 people in one queen bed. And they were just wall-to-wall beds and wall-to-wall people. And they cook for each other. We had actually had a family visiting. My son is attending the University of Kentucky as a medical student, first-year medical student, with his wife, Kristen, who's an ultrasound sonographer. And we actually had donated our house to a family from Kentucky that we met because the house was in between renters, a long-term renter, and there was a gap. So we donated the house to this family from Kentucky, and that family was actually staying there during the disaster here on Maui, and they were all in there together. And the family from Kentucky cooked the first meal for everyone, and then after that, the families here just were cooking meals for everyone until that family did depart. But there's just this unending camaraderie of everyone on the island that has gotten together, all the local folks. When the roads were blocked, they brought supplies via jet skis or via the ocean, via boat to these small boat ramps, or went around the more difficult backside of the island to get there, or even brought things in via plane. But it's awful for Lahaina. It's just awful. But the problem is that now there's this domino effect that's actually affecting the whole island and everyone there. Hotels are at lower capacity, so people are losing their jobs. Rental cars are just piling up, kind of like it was when there was COVID here. So the people that work at the rental car agencies are getting laid off. It's just, we're still searching for people. The children have, they've been displaced. Several, Camp 3 is one of the big schools in Lahaina that completely burnt down. It's really sad for the community here. It's devastating. It's just really, really devastating. And our foundation that my son started when he was 15, Ignite a Life Foundation, we're on the ground here. We're doing whatever we can. The list of what is needed, the supplies, just changes because the community, they'll say we need one thing, and then they'll get that one thing. And then immediately after that, they're like, oh, no, okay, we're good with that one thing. We need something else.
Yeah.
So we just switch off.
Well, Robin Muto, you and your family have a history of just being so generous and of charity. And if people are interested, your nonprofit is called Ignite a Life. You're giving all of the proceeds and the donations to people directly in Maui. You are there. You are not only giving up your home and your space to help these people, but you're also giving them hope. So, Robin Muto, thanks for joining us this morning. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate your time.
Yes.